They're back with you with another video lesson, May 28th, 2021. I hope you're all doing well and getting ready for the long weekend, at least down in the States. Pretty decent day today, as you can see. $4,200 a day, which was a very gorgeous day. And I'm going to talk about the trades that allowed that performance and allowed those results, and what the mindset was, what the philosophy was, the thesis, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so let's jump into it right away here and open up Interactive Brokers. Pull this in. There you go. So what are we doing here? Let's start with GME. Let's look at all the completed trades. That's the one. Those are the ones we need to chat about. Completed. All right. So let's start with GME this morning. That's not what I wanted. GMER. There we go. GME. Okay, so GME, I've been talking about this in quite a bit of detail lately, and if you're on my membership site, you will see the times that this was alerted. So make sure you go and check that out. Here, I'll open up this up as well, just to kind of show you everything with the timestamp, so it makes more sense. Give me a sec. Okay, enter watch lists. Beauty, beauty, beauty. Here we go. Okay, so GME, I was talking about this stock. I mean, this was obviously a little bit outside of my normal strategy. It's just totally a play off of the hype that's going on. Stock is heavily shorted, 21%, and that's just according to the last data that we have. I mean, if we go to FinViz here and take a look at GME, I mean, this is the last data, right? 20.99%. And if we go to shortvolume.com and put in GME, I think we're actually looking at a much higher percentage. We're looking at more like 50.56, right? So a lot of short volume traded according to the data that we get from FINRA. And this was just to me, it looked like an obvious run, right? But I'm going to explain to you my approach on it, what I did to it. Basically, you'll see earlier on I was trading this kind of not too bad. I mean, I bought this back on May 25th when this was back in the 210s and sold right before the spike. And this was, was a pre-market trading, so I was just, I wanted to go to bed. So I took my small profit, more like a scalp, and then this made a massive run. And then I bought the dip. And quite frankly, I thought because how far this had come up, this was done. So I took a horrible sell on it exactly where it rebounded, and then they pulled it back down again, making it look like it was done, and they ran it up back again. So very choppy, very volatile, which is perfect for traders. I just got caught in the wrong side of it, and that's fine. So you cut your losses right away and walk away and try again. But anyway, the dip yesterday, beautiful dip in after hours, and sold into the spike and pre-market today. And what a good sell, right? Because we basically found a much weaker breakout today compared to the past performance that the stock has had. And now this thing has pulled back significantly. So probably a decent dip buy, maybe on Tuesday when the market opens up again. So that was GME. Very, very nice trade, 418. VTNR. This stock confused a lot of people on what I was doing and why I was holding. But, this is a heavily shorted stock. And when you have that massive run due to fantastic news that they had an acquisition news that is actually completed, they're going to be buying the company and having all their assets and the profits and everything that come with it. You do get the squeeze, and typically shorts will enter up here again if there's shares available to short. And the standard gap and crap strategy that you hear all the time being talked about, they run it up in pre-market one more time, right? And then what happens? Let's look on the daily chart to understand what's going on. Well, what ends up happening is that this just happens to be the red day here. It happens to be the first day that the market has opened in these price ranges. Okay, so this spike right here is from the after hours run. So this is the first day the market gets the chance to react to these prices, and when the market's bag holding this in the 3s and the 2s and the 1s, they're going to sell, and shorts are going to dump into that. But when you have massive short seller interest, and when you look at Interactive Brokers, there was no shares available to short at the time anymore, and most brokers weren't offering shares available to short either. That usually means the shorts are exhausted, right? And when the initial bag holders get out, the news settles, the percent gain hits people. What happens to the majority of people's decision making? Well, most people, they chase price action. That's why they lose in the markets. And sometimes it rewards them, and in the case of in the case of VTNR, you definitely would have been rewarded for a wrong habit. But anyway, so you have buying pressure coming in, market makers also in on it and squeezing the shorts out, and I was able to sell in pre-market today, actually while I was sleeping. Let's go and pull up the chart here for where I was in on this. So I was holding a 404 average on VTNR. Let's give it a sec here to. Is it glitching? Thinking. Well, here, let me bring up VTNR on here. At least I can explain it on here. Let me, what's going on here? Is it actually not working? That's super weird. I don't know what the glitch is about. Anyway, you can see my sell points right here. One was up in the was it the 498s, and the other one was in the 550s. Okay, so bringing VTNR up, so that just was into the spike right here. Right, so on 498, just before the triple top that was forming, and I just wanted to have some positions locked in case this was going to fail again. And then I had a position at 550 that I sold, and I was able to get out of. The next trade, which is super frustrating that I can't show this to you right now. What's going on with this? Like, that's not even letting me click or do anything. Here, let me, I'm not sure what to do with this besides restarting it. And to restart it means I gotta restart the stream and the recording, so. Oh, that's frustrating. Okay, well, maybe I could explain on here. You can see down here, GMER. Right, no, because it's not showing me the swing that I had, because I was swinging this overnight. Well, you have to take my word for it. Those of you that were in live trading, you saw the the trades and the triangles and everything. But anyway, so I was buying this yesterday on the dip down here in the fives, and the reason for that was because this was a hard reject of the multi-level resistance that we had, multi-month resistance we had in the sevens, right? So the first percent gainer tested to an exact science on fantastic NFD news. And anybody who's bag holding again is going to get out very similar to VTNR. So when we start getting dips on it, I was just buying up the dips on this one right here. So any of the dips you saw, I bought three times. One was up into 5.7s, 5.5s, and 5.0s. So the entire way down, I was buying it. And I just held because to me this thing had a lot of room to grow. And if you think about it from the perspective of the market maker, if the market maker intends to run the stock the following day, it would make sense for them to create a bit of a mass panic to cause you to sell so that they can buy your order back from you and then run it on day 2, day 3, so forth, right? So that's exactly what happened. But the absolute frustrating part about my trade here is that I sold into this double top. And had I just, I don't know, it's coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? Had I just held another hour on VTNR, what was a $1,600 profit between the swing was going to turn to closer to like a $10,000 profit just with the way this thing ran. Okay, so anyway, and then I bought the dip down here and sold up here. Okay, so basically calling the top. If you're wondering how I call these, again, it's not perfect, and sometimes I get it wrong as well, but it's all a level 2 game. Level 2 in time and sales tape, and I showcased that to a perfect T for people today to see on the live trading. So if you're not on live trading, make sure you get into it so you get access to all the videos and all that stuff, and you get to see how I time my level 2 entries and exits. And then I didn't sell up here. I have a sell order at 18. I hope we can see that. Jesus, it doesn't let me show you anything. Anyway, so I'm sitting on 14-ish average, 14-cent average on GMER, and in live trading, I was explaining that once again, if the market maker intends to run this, it would make sense for them to panic this the end of day and capture the shares and then run them again on day 3, day 4. Okay. Now I don't know. I mean that's my hypothesis. That's my thesis on the trading of GMER. The news is probably going to hit over the long weekend. It's timed perfectly. And on the flip side as well, if it does panic, it's very easy for me to cut losses right away because I am right near the range where basically I break even on that last trade where I've been buying this up in the 14 average. So I've traded this down here and sold it into this spike right here. Traded the dip down here, sold into this spike, and now I'm basically buying the 14-cent average, and I'll just cut my losses, and we're basically closing right at the price that I bought at. So I think this thing has a lot of room to run. Market makers taking this down, capturing shares, and then running them up and selling them back to you and potentially shorting back into you. Okay. So very, very nice trades. And I think, oh yeah, and GGII added to the profits today as well. So this was the live trade that I captured for the people in stage 2 live trading. They got the chance to see what I do and how the level 2 works. That's just very, very nice. So that was I think that was $320 on this one, pushing 125,000 shares. So that was a nice 10% runner as well. Okay. So anyway, it's a long weekend. So Monday there's no trades. So Tuesday will be a very nice day. Hopefully, lots of time for people to absorb the noise from this week, and hopefully react to it into next week. And with GGII, I'm sure somebody's going to ask, how did you find this stock? Well, this is just nothing more than a previous percent gainer that was caught in the beginning of May, so 7th and 10th of May, that I've just been watching like a hawk, right? So it would have not shown up on a percent gainer scan until, in hindsight, it would have shown up right here, right? So you would have not been able to catch this unless you understand the theory of how the OTCs actually run, right? They perk them up, they pull them back, they spike them, they pull them back, and then they spike them, they pull them back, and they spike them like a bouncing ball, okay? So it's very important to not give up on an OTC when most people are giving up on it, because the bounces, as you can see happen today, are usually very lucrative to still capture very, very nice percentage points from various ranges, whether you want to short them or go long on them. Okay. So that's it. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will connect with you at some point next week.